Drake wanting to partner up with Amazon because of all the verticals they do touch. But Drake is possibly leaving UMG. And I think what better place to align yourself than with a Jeff Bezos, who has come into every industry and has just taken over.
Amazon has Alexa, where you're like, hey, Alexa, play music. What do you think Alexa's gonna do if Drake's partnered with Amazon and they know you like rap music? They're gonna play Drake.
You don't even need rap music because Drake plays every genre of music, so you could just throw on a Drake that's in the category they like.
But what I'm saying is Alexa is gonna push Drake. Welcome to the Real Oshow. I'm Zachary. Joining me as always, my partner in crime, my brother Joshua.
On today's episode, we do 2-minute takes. We deep dive Drake's deal with Amazon, and we finish with a fun story about Al Capone. Enjoy.
They paper getters, they want money more than they want fame shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack that we jaded.
This is a great interview. They doing their thing.
We're going to start the show with 2-minute takes where we take 5 different topics and talk about them for 2 minutes each. They're all going to be current events. Starting off, is Alabama in trouble?
100%. DeBoer is on the hot seat. He probably's owed a ton of guaranteed money, which gives him
$63 million at the end of this year.
Which gives him some grace. Also, they also got to test the waters to see if Nick Saban wants to come back and coach. But if he gets fired, I hope they ring the phone on Kurt Cignetti because I would love that for our brother Derek.
If they were to fire Kalen after this year, they'd owe him $63 million. If they somehow discover an email that wasn't supposed to be there, it would only cost them $3 million. So if you can imagine, I think there's going to be some sort of scandal that they try to put on him to fire him because $63 million is still a lot of money. I think.
He's got to know that's coming. If
I was him,
I would delete my email. I would change my residence. I would change my car title. I would change everything. If I had a wife, I would divorce her. I don't even know what I would do, but I would be trying to do everything to make sure I get that $63 million because the sharks are lurking on DeBoer.
If I was him, I would be hiring a private investigator to investigate me to figure out where my weak spots are and be like, how do I patch up these spots? Because at the end of the day, the Alabama fans are coming after him, and if he loses one more game, see you later.
Yeah, they're done.
Next, we have Jake Paul versus Tank Davis.
I think this is a great fight. I actually called this out exactly almost a year to the day, the year before November 2024. It got announced shortly in 2025. But obviously, Jake Paul is going to dominate this fight. It's exactly what Floyd Mayweather said against Conor McGregor. This is a robbery. And that's exactly what Tank Davis and Jake Paul are doing to all of society. And it's also the blend of boxing, which is real, in WWE, which is fake, and they're blending it together and giving these dream matchups that should actually never happen. But in the social media, YouTube era, and obviously Jake Paul being who he is, these matchups are going to become very, very real, just like the Mike Tyson one as well.
This is a real robbery because the purse is rumored to be $100 million, where Jake is going to take 60% of it, $60 million, and Tank is rumored to get $40 million, which makes a lot of sense. But to show you know it's WWE, no one would sanction the fight. That's why it's an exhibition bout, because no one wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole, knowing that you kind of lose a lot of credibility when a 215-pounder fights a 140-pounder.
Are they going to make Jake lose weight?
Yeah, they're fighting at like 185 pounds, which is normally what Jake would fight at. These fighters lose 20 pounds, 10 pounds to get there, and then...
No way Tank is getting up to 180 if he normally fights. He's going to be like 165 probably.
The weight has nothing to do with Tank. The weight was only about Jake. Jake, you have to get to this point.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Now, I heard there's no rehydration clauses or bullshit like that, which Tank got Ryan Garcia on, which is kind of shocking to me. This is a complete money grab. Tank literally said this in a Nelk Boys interview that if I fight Jake Paul, it's because it's a money grab.
Can't blame him.
Next up, Michael Porter Jr. saying the McDonald's All-American high school men's team would mollywop the Olympic WNBA / All-Star team.
I would have to agree because kind of ever since he said that, I've been seeing highlights of the male practice players, which have no business being on the court with anybody, are still being efficient and in some points dominating the WNBA players. Now it's not the All-Star team. I don't care what anybody says. These McDonald's All-American kids, especially the centers or the power forwards, really the guards, the girls just aren't staying with them. It's not sexist. It's not mean. It's truly the truth from someone who's played at the high level. No one is guarding those McDonald's All-American kids. Michael Porter Jr.'s class of McDonald's All-Americans literally had 6 NBA players.
Let's take away any biases. Let's just talk stats, right? The shortest player on the McDonald's All-American team was 6'2". The average height was a high 6'6", And 60% of the McDonald's All-American players play in the NBA. Now, 0 WNBA players could ever play in the NBA. So right there's a stat for you. And 2, we watched a Joe Blow high school player who doesn't even really play basketball against Sabrina Ionescu and was bullying her. That says everything you need to know. It's not about being mean. It's about talent and physicality. Like, these girls cannot physically play with the men. A 7-foot man would obliterate any woman trying to go up to the rim. And that's just a fact. That's not sexist. That's facts. Next, we have Young Thug spending $50,000 for bots on Gunna's album.
Thug obviously owns a lot of royalties on Gunna's project, so why not bot him to go number one? Now, what I find the most interesting fact is, Thug, Gunna have low-key been beefing. Now, Thug is in the limelight for essentially doing the same thing that Gunna did, and obviously, 6ix9ine historically has done it as well. But I'm going to be honest. The Gunna project, I listened to about halfway through. It's still pretty good. Gunna has it. I don't think Gunna has number one talent ability. I will be fully frank. Like, he's a great artist, and I think he's a top 10 artist, but he's not number one material. It's especially to be better than The Weeknd's Dawn FM. The Weeknd is a global artist, a Drake, a Taylor Swift level. Like, Gunna's not outselling The Weeknd on any day on an even playing field without paying for bots.
See, to me, it's not about Gunna using bots. It's not about Thug using bots. Any major artist under any major label has used bots. So to me, this isn't even really a topic. Every artist uses bots. Drake has used bots. Kendrick has used bots. Taylor Swift has used bots. Botting doesn't make it a bad album, doesn't make it a good album. All it is showing social proof to these people to be like, look, oh my gosh, it's number one on the charts. I should check it out. They're just programming you. It's the same reason why these record labels spend all this money to put the song on the radio. It's all to program you.
I feel like $50,000 is cheap to buy a number one.
Again, it depends on how much motion you have. The more motion you have, the cheaper it is to get your album to number one. The less motion you have, the more expensive it becomes.
Those labels went bankrupt trying to bot Doechii to go number one. God damn, they're probably fucking in bankruptcy Chapter 9 court right as we speak.
I heard Russ say that it cost someone $250,000 to buy the number one song for 1 week. Just think about that. $250,000 to buy one number one song for 1 week.
Not worth it.
But is it?
It's not worth it.
And last but not least, we have Backyard Sports announcing backyard football is back.
It's been a long time coming. Me and Joshua have spent a lot of time on TikTok Live playing backyard baseball. So they're going to announce it today as this podcast drops in September 8th, which I believe is next Tuesday. It'll be officially released, and I just can't wait to Saturday morning, pre-college game day, pre-noon slate, pre-Indiana Hoosier football, to just be dominating with Pete Wheeler at running back, running halfback pitches for touchdowns.
One, I hope that they bring back Backyard Football 2004 with Tom Brady on the cover. I hope that's the one they bring back. Two, this is genius IP. Backyard Sports is doing it better than anyone that I've seen as of late that took something that was very nostalgic as a kid and has brought it back into the 21st century and has revamped it. I really am excited to see where they take this venture in the future, because they really are gearing up for something big, bringing back all these nostalgic games.
They could create a real metaverse, which you've kind of talked about with the Backyard Sports, where you can play basketball and baseball and football and hockey and soccer. Like, you could literally create a team like you've talked about a lot and do all that, which we've talked about a lot. Plus, I'll add another caveat. In a world where, like, you have MLB The Show and you have Madden and now you have college football is back for a video game. Having a video game that doesn't look like anything else that's being done is actually the move you want to be in. And I think Backyard Sports Production, that is actually the company behind it, is doing an incredible job, and I'm pumped about it.
It would be very cool to pick one team, and then for every season you play a different sport to try to win all the championships.
The Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl?
The Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. We need something crazy like that, because it would be incredible.
Now on to our deep dive of the week. Me and Joshua here are big Drake fans. We talk about Drake. We always support Drake. Obviously, K-Bot has gotten a little hate because of all that, but his partnership with Amazon, obviously it's being talked about a little bit, but I don't think the right thing is being talked about, and that's what I want to deep dive right now. So I fully believe Drake's partnership with Amazon isn't about selling merch bundles to go number one. It's all about taking over Amazon Music. So in August 2025, Drake launched his official virtual store on Amazon called Drake's Warehouse. It's the first time he's ever made these official items available on this platform, and has 30 items: hoodies, pillowcases, shirts, anything you could think of, tote bags at the grocery store, anything you could think of, they have it. It's clearly designed to build hype for Iceman, but why would Drake pick Amazon? They obviously have the fulfillment, they have the promotional reach, they give the convenience for fans, but it goes a lot deeper than that. So bundles have been around for decades and have changed over time based on the Billboard rules. Most famously, Travis Scott has mastered this loophole with a merch sale counts as an album sale, making it easy for someone like Travis Scott, who has a cult following, to go number one, even if the music doesn't quite match a number one album. The current rule states that you must have both a physical album and merchandise included for it to count as an album sale. Now, Drake doesn't have a physical album attached to these sales, at least yet, but I don't think that's what he's after. He wants to win over Amazon Music that has 80 million worldwide listeners, which is about 11% of the whole streaming global market. Now, 11% doesn't seem like a lot when you talk about Apple Music or Spotify or YouTube, but Drake already dominates on Spotify and Apple Music, so why not go after a market share that no one is paying attention to? Since Amazon has already won the e-commerce game, they're looking to take over music, and what better person to partner with than the biggest artist in the world, Drizzy Drake Rogers.
So I think you said a lot of great things there, especially Drake wanting to partner up with Amazon because of all the verticals they do touch. And we've talked about this a few podcasts ago, but Drake is possibly leaving UMG. And I think what better place to align yourself than with a Jeff Bezos, who has come into every industry and has just taken over. Like, for example, Amazon Prime movies and shows. They just bought James Bond 007. And he literally bought that just to put his wife in the movie. That's how powerful he is. So when he partners up with a superstar like Drake, they could be straight up coming at UMG. Like, Drake could literally be opening up his own music studio, his own little section. Because if you think about it, in the last 50 years, no one has really touched UMG or Sony. It's just been them. Now, Sony used to own it. Now UMG kind of owns a little more. And it's kind of been like a push back and forth, right? Amazon has hit everything. They've hit movies. They've hit shipping. They've hit every angle. This is a bigger play for Drake. And Drake even said a long time ago, who's really running Universal? Drake and Taylor Swift are running Universal. Drake doesn't need Lucian Grange. Drake doesn't need big distributing. He can do it himself. But if you have a Jeff Bezos behind you, now you got a lot of distribution behind you.
Gary Vee talks about this a lot, that AI actually makes brand matter more, and Amazon's another like sneaky place. So like Amazon has Alexa. What are you like, hey Alexa, play music. What do you think Alexa's going to do if Drake's partnered with Amazon and they know you like rap music? They're going to play Drake.
But that's the thing, though, you don't even need rap music because Drake plays every genre of music. So you could just throw on a Drake that's in the category they like.
But what I'm saying is Alexa is going to push Drake. As Amazon becomes more a part of our society than it already is, because AI will help push Amazon even farther along, attaching yourself with the biggest company that is already in your house. Like, Amazon is going to own people's house. AI is going to own people's house. And I think as Drake attaches themselves to Amazon, it's only going to make him bigger. Like, talk about a play no one is thinking about. Like, you know, the saying goes like, you know, when people zig, you got to zag. Drake is the master of that, where like everybody thinks he's done and he's actually about to become 10 times bigger late in his career based off these moves he's making. Not only is the music already better than everybody, but then he's going to attach himself to essentially maybe an unproven company in the music space. 11% of the market share. They don't have artists represented. They might have some exclusive deals maybe, but like they don't have a label. Bringing Drake in not only helps Drake push out from a merchandise standpoint to get into more houses, they're going to be able to push his music on the streaming, on Amazon Alexas, as Amazon becomes more a part of like electric cars, like a Tesla or whatever. Drake is going to be everywhere, and I don't think people who don't like Drake are going to be able to stomach that. I'm going to love it. I'm going to appreciate it. But I think Drake making this move with Amazon is 100% brilliant, and it's why he's the best ever and has been on top for so long.
Drake is taking a page out of Jamie Salter's playbook. I made a video about this guy who buys dead brands that were just nostalgic and then revamps them and just license them. Makes other people do the work, and he just takes a skim off the top. Drake is kind of doing that. And what I mean by that is, if you've seen him in the last year, he's partnered with the NFL, the MLB, NHL. He's now doing this thing with Amazon. They're all licensing deals. They're just using OVO and Drake to push it. They're manufacturing everything. All of the liability is on them. They have all the overhead. Drake is just taking his 25% off the top and going, thanks for selling it. Thanks for having your infrastructure and just using my name, and I'm getting all the money from it. That's how you 10x, 100x your money, because you have now the machine pushing all your shit.
But it also is a lot of hard work to get to that standpoint to make the machine want to push you and
but
just pay you to use their shit.
That's
Because
my point, though.
with
That's why Drake is doing that.
But with Drake attached to anything, it sells. Drake can make our podcast one of the biggest podcasts overnight. If Drake was like the Real Oshow is the fucking best,
100%.
we'd be a top 3 podcast the next day.
But my point is, Drake is doing it in a way where he doesn't have all the risk. If Drake goes all in on OVO and all of his stores he has, think about the hundreds of millions of dollars in merch, overhead, all these employees that he has to hire. Now Amazon goes, hey, we'll take all the risk. We'll use our infrastructure. We'll use our shit. We'll pay for everything. You just get the money off the top. And he's going, okay, no risk for me, and I get all the reward. We're going to round out our podcast with our last segment, Did You Know? Zachary, did you know that Al Capone is the reason that milk has an expiration date?
I feel like I've heard the story, but I don't quite know the ins and outs of it.
So the story goes that Al Capone's niece got sick from old milk. So he used his political influence to lobby for laws that required bottling companies to add expiration dates, which was unheard of at the time, right? This is the 30s. No one was like, oh, that shit's expired. They just sold it.
It's also because everybody was dirt poor then as well.
However, that's kind of a bullshit story. There's a real reason why Al Capone wanted to do this. Al's brother owned a large portion of the bottling market, and after Prohibition, they saw milk as more valuable than alcohol because it was a daily purchase, which is why Capone fought for expiration dates on milk so they would sell even more milk, which in return would sell more bottles. Capone even almost got into the dairy industry because he was like, this is such a lucrative market. But it's kind of wild that a known mobster sparked reform that 100 years later, we still use it.
You know, a mobster just likes money. He was like, man, fuck drugs, fuck gambling. I'm gonna be a milk guy now. I know I can sell millions in milk, so I can't blame him. That's just business. Al Capone was one of the first entrepreneurs before entrepreneuring was cool. So I can't complain.
It is kind of true though, because what are mobsters also known for in New York City, New Jersey? Trash. It's like those dirty jobs are
because they're
big money jobs.
Yeah, it's because they're putting bodies in the dumpster.
Yeah, but what does everyone need? Everyone needs their trash taken.
Yeah.
So guess what? Everyone's got to pay for their shit to get taken. Like, it is a genius idea because, yes, obviously they were dumping dead bodies back in the day. Not so much nowadays because it's a little too dicey with FBI. But it is interesting that these very small, boring businesses, the mob would take over and own them.
Well, they got daily businesses. It's like laundromat, vending machines, milk. What else did mobsters run? What else did they run? Gambling. People loved
Gambling, alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, they did everything.
Daily things.
Daily
things.
You need it.
It's pretty smart. But if you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe. Until next Tuesday. Peace.
About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God, we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on rough for greatness. They paper getters, they want money more than they want fake shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack till we jaded. I just told my niggas that we on a mission. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to get it.